Assalamu alaikum and welcome to our channel. Today we are going to share with you a very special and emotional story. The story of Hazrat Ibrahim, AS, and the great sacrifice. This is not just any story. It is a story full of love, faith, and obedience to Allah. It is a story of a father and son who were ready to give up everything, just to follow the command of their creator. Why did Hazrat Ibrahim, alayhi salam, try to sacrifice his own son? What happened at that moment? And what does this story teach us today? Stay with us till the end, and let's go on a beautiful journey through one of the greatest stories in Islamic history. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing Islamic stories. A long time ago, in a land called Babylon, there lived a young boy named Ibrahim. He was different from the other children. While they played and laughed, Ibrahim would look up at the sky and wonder about the stars, the moon, and the sun. He asked deep questions even as a child. Who made the stars? Who made the sky? Who made me? Ibrahim lived in a town where people did not worship Allah. They worshipped idols, statues made of stone and wood. These idols could not speak, eat, or help anyone. But the people would still bow to them, pray to them, and ask them for help. Ibrahim's own father, Azar, used to make these idols with his own hands. He would carve them and decorate them beautifully. People from far away would come to buy these statues. Azar was proud of his work, but Ibrahim felt sad. He thought, how can these statues be gods? They cannot even move. One day, little Ibrahim asked his father, why do you worship something you made yourself? These statues cannot hear or see. They cannot help or harm anyone. His father became angry. Stop talking like this, Ibrahim. These are the gods of our forefathers. Don't speak against them. But Ibrahim's heart was full of truth. He wanted to find the real God, the one who made the whole world. One night, when the sky was dark, Ibrahim looked up and saw a shining star. It was so bright and beautiful. This must be my Lord, he thought. But after some time, the star disappeared. I do not like those that go away, he said. Then he saw the moon shining beautifully in the sky. This is my Lord, he thought. But the moon also disappeared when the sun rose. Then Ibrahim saw the sun rising in the sky. It was bigger and brighter than all the others. This must be my Lord, he thought. But when the sun also set, Ibrahim said, O my people, I am free from all these things you worship. I have turned my face to the one who created the heavens and the earth. I am not among those who worship others beside Allah. From that moment, Ibrahim knew in his heart that only Allah was the true God. He did not need to see him to believe. He could see Allah's power in the sky, in the trees, in the animals, and in the people. Now that he had found the truth, Ibrahim wanted to guide others. He wanted to help them stop worshiping idols and believe in the one true God. But the people were stubborn. They refused to listen. Even his father said, if you do not stop, I will punish you. Leave me alone. Ibrahim felt sad, but he said, peace be upon you. I will ask my Lord to forgive you. One day there was a big festival in the town. Everyone left to celebrate. Ibrahim stayed behind. He walked into the temple where all the idols were kept. There were many statues, big and small, all lined up. In front of them, people had placed food as offerings. Ibrahim looked at the idols and said, why don't you eat the food? Why don't you speak? They were silent, of course. They were only stone. Then Ibrahim picked up an axe. He broke all the idols into pieces, all except the biggest one. He left the axe hanging around its neck. When the people came back and saw their gods broken, they were shocked. Who did this to our idols? They cried. Someone said, we heard a boy named Ibrahim talking badly about them. They brought Ibrahim and asked him, did you do this to our gods? Ibrahim said, ask the big one. He has the axe. Maybe he broke the others. The people looked at the big idol, then at each other. They knew it couldn't speak. You know very well these idols can't talk, they shouted. Ibrahim said, then why do you worship them? They cannot help you or harm you. Why not worship the one who created you? The people became very angry. Instead of listening to the truth, they planned to punish Ibrahim. They said, burn him, throw him into a great fire. So they built a huge fire. It was so hot that even birds flying above it fell down. They tied Ibrahim up and threw him into the flames. But something amazing happened. Allah said to the fire, "O fire, be cool and safe for Ibrahim." The fire obeyed Allah. It became cool. The flames did not harm Ibrahim at all. When the people saw this miracle, some were amazed, but many still refused to believe. They turned away from the truth. Ibrahim walked out of the fire without a single burn. He thanked Allah for saving him. He knew now more than ever, Allah is the most powerful, and He protects those who believe in Him. After the amazing miracle of the fire, Ibrahim's mission to spread the message of the one true God became even more difficult. The people of his town and his own father remained stubborn. They were not willing to leave their idols or worship Allah alone. But Ibrahim's faith in Allah was unshaken, and he knew that his mission was far from over. Ibrahim left his hometown and traveled to a new place. There he met a mighty king named Nimrod. Nimrod was a proud and powerful man. He believed that he was the greatest, and some people even called him a god. He had built a great empire, and he ruled with much power and control. When Ibrahim arrived in the king's city, he was invited to meet the king. Nimrod asked Ibrahim, "Who are you, and what message do you bring?" Ibrahim stood boldly before the king and said, "I am a messenger of Allah, the one who created the heavens and the earth. I bring a message of truth. There is only one God, and He is the creator of everything. He is the one you should worship." Nimrod became angry. He was not ready to hear this message. He saw himself as the ruler of the world and did not want to accept that there was someone greater than him. "You are nothing but a boy who dares to challenge me," Nimrod said. "I am the king, and I am the one who controls life and death. Who are you to say there is a God greater than me?" Ibrahim remained calm and replied, "Allah is the one who gives life and causes death. He is the one who created everything, including you." Nimrod, filled with pride, wanted to prove that he was the greatest. He said, "If you truly believe in your God, then show me a miracle. If your God is real, He should be able to bring someone back to life." Ibrahim, knowing that it was Allah alone who controlled life and death, accepted the challenge. He said, "Allah has the power to give life and take it away. But you, O Nimrod, claim to be the one who gives life and death. So I challenge you to prove your power. If you are truly powerful, then bring someone back to life." Nimrod thought for a moment and then gave an order. He had 2 prisoners brought before him. One of them was sentenced to death, and the other was spared. Nimrod said, "I will show you my power. I will order the death of this man, and then I will let him live again." The king ordered the execution of one of the prisoners, and the man was killed. Then Nimrod called for the prisoner to be brought back to life, but nothing happened. No miracle occurred. Ibrahim said to the king, "Allah is the one who gives life and death. You cannot control it. You cannot bring someone back to life with your own power." The king was angry but refused to admit that he was wrong. He said, "I will show you something even more powerful. I will make the sun rise from the west." Ibrahim calmly responded, "If you can truly do this, then it will prove that you have power equal to Allah's. But if you cannot do it, then you will know that Allah is the only true power." Nimrod tried, but nothing happened. The sun continued to rise in the east, just as it always had. Now Nimrod was speechless. He had failed to prove his power, and Ibrahim's message had shown that Allah alone is in control of the universe. But Nimrod, filled with pride, refused to believe. Ibrahim did not give up, though. He continued to teach the people the truth about Allah, even though the king and his people refused to accept it. After his meeting with Nimrod, Ibrahim traveled to another place, where he was blessed with a wife named Sarah. Despite his many efforts to guide people to the truth, Ibrahim's mission was still not easy. Many people continued to refuse the message of Allah, and they chose to worship idols instead. But Ibrahim's faith in Allah remained strong, and he knew that he had to keep going. Allah had chosen him for an important task, and Ibrahim was determined to fulfill it. One day, while Ibrahim and his wife Sarah were traveling, they arrived at the land of Egypt. In Egypt, there was a king who was very cruel and unjust. He would capture beautiful women and make them part of his palace. When Ibrahim and Sarah arrived in Egypt, the king noticed Sarah's beauty. He wanted to take her for himself, but Ibrahim was afraid that the king would harm him because of Sarah's beauty. So he told his wife to tell the king that she was not his wife, but his sister. Ibrahim knew that this would protect him from harm. The king ordered Sarah to be brought to his palace. When she arrived, Sarah prayed to Allah for protection. Allah responded to her prayer and made the king unable to touch her. When the king saw this, he was afraid. He realized that Sarah was under the protection of a powerful God, and he immediately released her. The king was amazed by the power of Ibrahim's God. He returned Sarah to Ibrahim and even gave them gifts as a sign of respect. Ibrahim and Sarah continued their journey, but they faced many more challenges along the way. They faced difficulties, but Ibrahim's trust in Allah never wavered. He continued to preach the message of the one true God, knowing that Allah's plan for him was greater than anything he could imagine. Years passed and Ibrahim, alayhi salam, continued to spread the message of Allah. He was now much older, but still the people around him refused to accept the truth. Yet Allah was pleased with Ibrahim's dedication and commitment. Ibrahim had proven to be a strong believer, and Allah decided to test his faith in a very difficult way. One night, as Ibrahim was resting, he had a dream. In the dream, he saw himself sacrificing his beloved son, Ismail, alayhi salam, as an offering to Allah. At first, Ibrahim was confused. He loved his son deeply and could not imagine harming him, but he also knew that dreams of prophets were messages from Allah, and he must obey. The next morning, Ibrahim woke up and immediately thought about what he had seen in his dream. He knew it was not a normal dream, but a command from Allah. He decided to talk to his son, Ismail, about the dream. When Ibrahim shared the dream with his son, he was amazed by Ismail's reaction. Ismail had grown up to be a wise and obedient young man. He knew that his father was a prophet, and that if his father had received such a command from Allah, it was something to be done without hesitation. "Father," said Ismail, "do what you have been commanded. Allah willing, you will find me patient." Ibrahim was deeply moved by his son's response. Ismail had shown that he too trusted Allah completely, just as Ibrahim did. Together they made preparations for the great test ahead. Ibrahim and Ismail traveled to a remote place, far from their home. The journey was long and difficult, but Ibrahim knew that he was doing the will of Allah. As they reached the place where the sacrifice was to take place, Ibrahim laid Ismail down and prepared to carry out the command of Allah. At the moment when Ibrahim was about to sacrifice his son, Allah intervened. He called out to Ibrahim saying, "O Ibrahim, you have fulfilled the dream. Indeed, we reward those who are obedient to Allah. We do not require the sacrifice of your son. You have passed the test." At that moment, a ram appeared, and Ibrahim was instructed to sacrifice it in place of his son. Ibrahim, grateful for Allah's mercy, quickly obeyed and sacrificed the ram. Ismail was unharmed, and Ibrahim had shown that he was willing to give up everything for the sake of Allah. This event became a lesson for all believers. Allah did not require Ibrahim to sacrifice his son, but he wanted to see if Ibrahim's faith and trust in him were strong enough to carry out such a difficult command. Ibrahim's willingness to obey Allah, even in the face of such a test, showed his deep devotion. As a reward for Ibrahim's faith, Allah made the act of sacrifice a significant ritual for Muslims. Every year during the days of Hajj, Muslims around the world remember this great act of obedience by sacrificing an animal, such as a goat, sheep, or cow, in the name of Allah. This practice is called qurbani, and it is done to honor Ibrahim's devotion and sacrifice. After this great test, Ibrahim and Ismail were filled with peace. They knew that Allah had accepted their obedience and had rewarded them with His mercy. Their story became an example for all believers, showing that trust in Allah is the key to success in any trail. A new beginning. Years later, Ibrahim's life would continue to unfold with new challenges and new blessings from Allah. After the great test of sacrifice, Ibrahim and his wife Sarah were blessed with another son, Ishaq, alayhi salam, who would also become a prophet. The joy of Ishaq's birth was a blessing from Allah after so many years of waiting, and it filled Ibrahim and his family with gratitude. The birth of Ishaq was a reminder that Allah's plans are always greater than our own. Ibrahim had trusted Allah during the most difficult moments of his life, and Allah had rewarded him with His mercy and blessings. Now with the birth of his son, Ibrahim's family was complete. Ibrahim, now a wise and elderly man, continued to spread the message of Allah. He traveled to different lands, telling people about the one true God, warning them against the dangers of idol worship, and reminding them of the importance of righteousness and justice. One of the places Ibrahim traveled to was a city called Palestine. There, he built a house of worship in the name of Allah. This house would later become the sacred Kaaba in Mecca, one of the holiest places in Islam. Ibrahim, along with his son Ismail, worked together to construct the Kaaba, and they dedicated it to the worship of Allah alone. The Kaaba was to be a place of worship for all people, a reminder of the unity of the Muslim community, and a symbol of Ibrahim's faith and obedience. Every year, millions of Muslims visit the Kaaba as part of the pilgrimage of Hajj, following in the footsteps of Ibrahim. Ibrahim's life was filled with many challenges, but through it all, he remained a devoted servant of Allah. He was known for his honesty, his strength of character, and his willingness to make great sacrifices for the sake of Allah. He is remembered in Islam as one of the greatest prophets, a model of faith, obedience, and trust in Allah. Ibrahim's legacy lives on today, not only in the rituals of Hajj and the Kaaba, but also in the hearts of Muslims around the world. Every time they pray, they say, Allahu Akbar, Allah is the greatest, remembering the great sacrifices Ibrahim made in his life. His story continues to inspire Muslims to remain strong in their faith, to trust in Allah's plan, and to be willing to make sacrifices for the greater good. Ibrahim's life is a reminder that no matter how difficult the trials may seem, Allah's mercy and guidance are always there. His story teaches Muslims to trust in Allah's wisdom and to seek His guidance in all things. Ibrahim's example continues to inspire Muslims to live lives of devotion, kindness, and obedience to Allah. Prophet Ibrahim, alayhi salam, had lived a long and blessed life, filled with challenges, sacrifices, and immense faith. Allah had tested him in many ways, but through every trial, Ibrahim had remained steadfast in his belief, trusting Allah's wisdom and plan. He had raised his family to follow the path of righteousness, and his legacy had a lasting impact on generations of believers. As Ibrahim's life continued, he faced new tests and challenges, but he never wavered in his devotion to Allah. He continued to spread the message of monotheism, warning people about the dangers of idol worship and calling them to the worship of the one true God. Ibrahim's commitment to Allah was unwavering, and his actions were guided by his love and trust in Allah. Ibrahim's family and his sons. Ibrahim's family played a significant role in his life and mission. His wife Sarah had been with him through many hardships, and together they had raised two sons, Ismail, alayhi salam, and Ishaq, alayhi salam. Each of these sons had their own important role to play in the future of the Islamic faith. Ismail, alayhi salam, as mentioned earlier, was a key figure in Ibrahim's life, especially during the great test of sacrifice. His obedience to Allah and his willingness to follow his father's example were powerful demonstrations of his faith. Ismail grew up to become a prophet, and he continued the message of his father, calling people to worship Allah alone. Ishaq, alayhi salam, the younger son, was also a prophet. Allah blessed Ibrahim with Ishaq after many years of waiting. Ishaq's birth brought joy and relief to Ibrahim and his wife Sarah. Ishaq, like his brother Ismail, was a devoted servant of Allah. He was a prophet who carried on the mission of his father, and he became the father of Prophet Yaqub, Jacob, whose descendants would become the 12 tribes of Israel. Through his sons, Ibrahim's legacy continued, and the message of monotheism spread across many lands. His children and grandchildren were chosen by Allah to carry on the mission of prophethood, guiding people to the worship of the one true God. The sons of Ibrahim, alayhi salam, each received their own guidance from Allah. Ismail, alayhi salam, after helping his father build the Kaaba, went to live in the land of Makkah. There he was sent by Allah to guide the people, warning them against idol worship and reminding them of the importance of worshiping Allah alone. The people of Makkah had long worshipped idols, but Ismail's message was clear. There is only one God, and He is the creator of everything. Despite facing resistance and hardships, Ismail continued his mission, and his message was carried on by his descendants. Eventually his son, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, would emerge as the final prophet and the one to complete the message of Ibrahim and all the other prophets before him. Ishaq, alayhi salam, Like his father, was a man of great faith. He carried out Allah's commands with devotion and guided his people to worship Allah. He had a son named Yaqub, Jacob, who would also become a prophet. Yaqub's sons, particularly Yusuf, Joseph, would play important roles in the stories that were to come. The prophethood passed down through Ibrahim's descendants, and each generation carried the message of monotheism and righteousness. One of Ibrahim's legacy was not only in his actions, but also in the family that followed in his footsteps. Ibrahim's greatest physical legacy was the Kaaba, the house of worship in Mecca. He and his son Ismail had built it together as a place dedicated to the worship of Allah. The Kaaba became the center of worship for Muslims, and it remains so to this day. The Kaaba was a symbol of Ibrahim's obedience to Allah, and it stood as a reminder to all who visited it that Allah is the only one worthy of worship. Each year, millions of Muslims from all over the world travel to Mecca to perform the Hajj pilgrimage, following in the footsteps of Ibrahim, Ismail, and the other prophets. The rituals of Hajj are rich in history and meaning, and they remind Muslims of the trials and sacrifices made by Ibrahim and his family. Hajj is a time for Muslims to renew their faith, seek forgiveness from Allah, and remember the great sacrifices of Ibrahim. The pilgrimage includes rituals such as walking around the Kaaba, performing the sa'i, running between the hills of Safa and Marwa, and offering an animal sacrifice, all of which are tied to Ibrahim's story. The sacrifices made during Hajj are a reflection of Ibrahim's willingness to give up what was most dear to him in obedience to Allah. As the years passed, Ibrahim, alayhi salam, grew older. He had lived a long life full of challenges, but his faith had never faltered. He had given his all to Allah, and he had left a lasting impact on the world. Ibrahim's legacy was one of complete submission to the will of Allah, and his life had shown that no matter how difficult the trials, Allah's mercy and wisdom were always greater. Before his death, Allah gave Ibrahim peace, knowing that his mission had been fulfilled. He had spread the message of monotheism, built the Kaaba, and left a legacy of faith that would continue through his descendants. Ibrahim passed away in peace, having completed his mission as a prophet of Allah. His death was not the end of his legacy. The message he had brought continued to spread through his sons, grandsons, and their descendants. Each of the prophets who came after him, from Ismail to Muhammad, peace be upon him, carried forward the message of Ibrahim. The people of Mecca, who had once rejected his message, eventually embraced the teachings of Islam, and the Kaaba became a place of worship for millions of Muslims. Ibrahim's legacy also lives on in the hearts of Muslims around the world. His story continues to inspire believers to trust in Allah, to be patient in the face of trials, and to be willing to sacrifice for the sake of Allah. Ibrahim's example is a model of faith, obedience, and devotion, and his legacy will continue to guide Muslims for generations to come. This concludes the story of Prophet Ibrahim, alayhi salam. His life is a reminder that with faith and obedience to Allah, we can overcome any challenge and live lives of purpose and devotion. May we all strive to follow his example and remain steadfast in our faith, just as Ibrahim did. Thank you for watching the video. Do like, comment, and share it with your friend, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos.